the tourism industry's full recovery. Our Trisha Tarada tells us what visitors can expect.
The national government now allows fully vaccinated foreign tourists and businessmen to enter the Philippines. Foreign spouses and children of Filipino citizens and former natural-born Filipinos with balikbayan privileges are no longer required to have return tickets not later than 30 days from the date of their arrival in the country. Philippine authorities will also allow foreign nationals from visa-free countries to stay beyond 30 days for purposes other than tourism and leisure, provided that they have an entry exemption document issued under existing IATF rules. Temporary visitors visa holders may also enter the country without an entry exemption document. However, the government reiterates that only fully vaccinated foreigners with acceptable proof of vaccination are allowed to enter the Philippines, except for minors below 12 years old who are traveling with fully vaccinated parents. They must also present a negative RT-PCR test taken within 48 hours prior to date and time of departure from their country of origin. Their passports must also be valid for at least 6 months at the time of their arrival in the Philippines. Fully vaccinated foreign nationals are no longer required to go under facility-based quarantine, but they must self-monitor for symptoms for 7 days. The COVID-19 Interagency Task Force allays fears of a possible spike in cases amid the easing of travel restrictions, as the government hopes tourism will help the economy bounce back.
We're confident that because of these protocols, we will be able to ensure na number one, mapipick up ang tourism industry natin, mapapabangon natin muli ang ating tourism industry. Makakatulong po ito ng malaki sa mga lubos na naapektuhan sa sektor na yan, lalong-lalo na po ang ating mga workers, employees, mga nagtatrabaho sa sektor na iyan.
Meantime, the government likewise now recognizes the COVID-19 vaccination certificates issued in Brazil, Israel, South Korea, and Timor-Leste for purposes of travel quarantine protocols and interzonal and intrazonal movements. Trisha Tarada, CNN Philippines.
The Interior Department says Cebu Province should follow the interagency task force policy on the entry of foreign nationals into the country. Cebu Governor Gwen Garcia issued an executive order on Wednesday allowing the entry of all foreign nationals beginning March 1, regardless of their vaccination status. But the current IATF policy only permits the entry of fully vaccinated foreigners. Under Garcia's directive, foreign nationals still need to present a negative RT-PCR test taken in the past 48 hours, be swabbed upon arrival, and go into a facility-based quarantine until the release of their second RT-PCR test on the 5th day.
The IATF policy should be followed. Local governments may tweak if the policy is unclear or if the national policy allows them to go beyond what is provided. But in this case, the policy is very clear as to the entry of individuals to the country.
The department stressed the need to have a dialogue with the provincial government of Cebu. This is not the first time Garcia issued a policy contrary to the IATF's directive. In May last year, she ordered the testing of all returning overseas Filipinos upon arrival at the airport, contrary to the IATF protocol of testing on the 6th day after their return. But Garcia later decided to set aside their own travel protocol and follow the national guidelines. CNN Philippines is still trying to get Garcia's side on the matter. Now, with the government ramping up the vaccination of children against COVID-19 and as the Education Department expands the implementation of limited face-to-face classes, more kids are physically back in schools. In San Juan City, almost 90 students from kinder to grade 6 are attending classes at the Pedro Cruz Elementary School. Typical health protocols are in place, including temperature checks and use of alcohol before entering the rooms. San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora says 4 other schools in the city will begin holding face-to-face classes this month, including the San Juan Science High School and Xavier School.
Noong inintroduce ng local government yung ating vaccination sa ating pediatric, inasahan na rin namin ang pagtaas, which is nakatulong ito kung bakit tumaas yung confidence level noong mga magulang.
Sana po ay magtuloy-tuloy na. Basta naman hindi magkaroon ng anumang surge muli. Nakikita ko na tuloy-tuloy na po ito.
The DepEd earlier this month ordered regional directors to implement the resumption and expansion of limited face-to-face classes for both public and private schools in Alert Level 2 areas. Authorities say there were 3.7 million jobless Filipinos in 2021. Now, this is slightly lower than 4.5 million in 2020, but still a far cry from the 2.26 million recorded in pre-pandemic 2019. Authorities say more Filipinos were out of jobs in December last year, and majority of them were from the fishing industry. Tristan Odalo also tells us officials expect the numbers could get worse for the first month of 2022.
The number of unemployed Filipinos in December 2021 increased to an estimated 3.27 million, slightly higher than the 3.16 million in November the same year. That's according to the latest labor force survey of the Philippine Statistics Authority. The survey was done from December 8 to 29, around the same period when the country was under a more relaxed Alert Level 2 in time for the holidays. The PSA adds many jobs hinge on the Alert Level system being implemented. Industries that suffered job losses during the period include fishing and aquaculture, service activities, education, public administration and defense, and information and communication. On the other hand, agriculture, manufacturing, human health and social work, transportation and storage, and the admin and support service sector showed an increase in employment during the same period. The PSA notes that the rate of labor force participation increased to 65.1% in December 2021, up from 64.2% in November 2021. The increase, which is reported as the highest for 2021, is equivalent to 910,000 Filipinos who are 15 years old and older and either employed or unemployed.
Kailangan makita natin sa tamang perspektibo at konteksto ito. Ang ibig ko po sabihin, bagamat umakyat ng 0.1 yung unemployment, tandaan natin na tumaas din po yung labor force participation.
Pag nagkaroon talaga ng relaxation doon sa restrictions, ay talagang tumataas yung ating labor force participation rate. Mayroon talagang seasonality sa mga jobs at ito yung dahilan ng pagtaas ng ating labor force participation rate to 65.1% from 64.2%.
In a statement, the National Economic Development Authority maintains that the country is on the right track to economic recovery and job creation remains a priority. NEDA Chief Carl Chua believes that accelerating the vaccination program will create more jobs. But the official is not discounting the fact that the employment situation may further deteriorate in January 2022 due to the imposition of higher alert levels. Tristan Odalo, CNN Philippines.
Agriculture officials got a dressing down from senators over the contested policy of importing 60,000 metric tons of fish in the first quarter. This is against the recommendation of the National Fisheries and Aquatic Resources Management Council. Senator Cynthia Villar said instead of importing, the department should have suspended a closed fishing season. She added that officials should have provided additional support to fishermen affected by Typhoon Odette to secure local supply.
Wala po kayo, 11,000 metric tons of fish ang nawawala po ngayon at kailangan hulihin natin.
Dapat, pagkatapos ng Odette, namigay ka na ng bangka. Bakit ang sagot agad ay importation? Ang dami pwedeng gawin eh. Sabihin mo kay Secretary Dar, alam mo, napapansin ng lahat ng tao yan. Na ang solution niya sa lahat ng problema, importation. Oh, napapansin na yan, kapansin-pansin na yan.
Totoo yan, Madam Chair.
I-review mo yan, kasi hindi maganda yan.
For Senator Amy Marcos, it is a disgrace for an archipelago to be a primary fish importer. Agriculture Secretary William Dar is in Dubai for the Expo 2020, so he sent representatives to the Senate hearing this morning. Worldwide, growing tensions between Russia and Ukraine may cause fuel prices to soar further, according to an international research firm. JP Morgan says pump costs may rise to $120 or over 6,100 pesos per barrel or for every 159 liters. Brent crude oil, a major benchmark for global fuel costs, hit a 7-year high on Monday. The firm warns if Russian oil exports are cut in half amid the tensions, Brent prices may soar to $150 or nearly 7,700 pesos per barrel. The Russia-Ukraine standoff has caused high inflation in recent weeks. Coming up here on Newsnight, two candidates now out of the Lacson-Soto senatorial lineup just 3 days into the national campaigns. Plus, this Filipina actress in Korea shares her journey to the Netflix zombie hit, All of Us Are Dead. Keep it here on CNN Philippines. Welcome back to Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines. COMELEC Commissioners Amy Ferolino and Marlon Casquejo will still be handling the 3 pending disqualification cases against presidential candidate Bongbong Marcos. Now, this comes even after the poll body reshuffled the members in its divisions. Casquejo is now the presiding commissioner of the COMELEC 2nd Division. Ferolino, who is tasked to write the decision on the Marcos cases, will still be in the 1st Division, now presided by acting chairperson Socorro Inting. The 1st Division under then presiding commissioner Rowena Guanzon was assigned to resolve the Marcos disqualification cases. Guanzon had accused Ferolino of delaying the resolution, which she denied. The Commission on Elections begins deploying various election-related equipment and paraphernalia and supplies for the May 9 polls. These include vote-counting machines and external batteries, which will be delivered from the COMELEC warehouse to local hubs nationwide until the end of March, while ballot boxes will be shipped until April 10th. COMELEC will deliver official ballots and indelible ink from the National Printing Office to city and municipal treasurers from April 20th to May 5th. Meanwhile, COMELEC verified almost 400 YouTube channels of candidates. Under COMELEC rules, websites and other social media platforms for campaigning must be registered with the poll body. Presidential candidate Ping Lacson and his running mate Tito Soto dropped 2 senatorial bets from their lineup. George Cahilas has that and updates on other candidates.
Pangulong Ferdinand BBM Marcos at ang ating Vice Presidente Inday Sara Duterte. Maraming salamat.
It was deemed a failure to honor a gentleman's agreement against endorsing opponents. So the Lacson-Soto tandem dropped Senator Win Gatchalian from the senatorial slate.
They have chosen to embrace a different set of advocacies and principles. And to us, non-negotiable yung mga principles. I'm sorry it has to end this way na maghihiwalay kami.
Gatchalian showed up in the Uniteam Proclamation rally at the Philippine Arena, where he openly endorsed Bongbong Marcos and Sara Duterte.
I think this could be a somewhat blessing in disguise as far as the perspective of the voters are concerned. Di ba? Maganda ito, makikita mo kung sino yung may loyalty at wala.
In a statement, Gatchalian says he respects the decision and apologized for the misunderstanding that he may have caused. Another Senate hopeful dropped from the list is former Quezon City Mayor Herbert Bautista. Gatchalian and Bautista are members of the Nationalist People's Coalition. Soto is party chairman. Soto says the party will discuss the matter next week, and he also hopes to finally get the NPC endorsement for the Lacson-Soto tandem.
The party will not support any other presidential candidate. It's either Senator Lacson or wag na lang. Kung ayaw nila, ganun ang magiging appeal ko.
In the meantime, Vice President Leni Robredo calls on Batangueños to give her a back-to-back win. In 2016, Robredo secured more than 500,000 votes against her rival, former Senator Bongbong Marcos, who only got 260,000. But Robredo tells supporters not to lose hope, at the same time encouraging them to destroy the lies on social media.
So nung panahon na yon, wala pang nag-aakala na mananalo ako. Pero dahil sa pagdesisyon din ng mga kasama, nagawa yung akala nating imposible. Hindi din imposible na magagawa ulit natin yon ngayon na 2020.
The tandem of Manila Mayors Co Moreno and Willie Ong visited Laguna. Moreno thanked the endorsement of groups allied with President Rodrigo Duterte.
Maraming salamat sa mga DDS, mga Duterte diehard supporter at mga kaalyado ni Pangulong Duterte na tumutulong sa atin.
George Cahiles, CNN Philippines.
Tony Gonzaga's controversial hosting of Bongbong Marcos's proclamation rally is still the talk of netizens and some famous figures. A post from the on-the-job director, Eric Mati, went viral denouncing what he says was Tony's emboldened and arrogant support for the late dictator's son. Former Pinoy Big Brother housemate Don Chang also weighed in, criticizing Tony's introduction of Rodante Marcoleta at Marcos's campaign event. Marcoleta is among lawmakers who opposed ABS-CBN's franchise renewal. Don also promoted Leni Robredo for president. But Tony Gonzaga herself seems to remain unbothered. Earlier today, the star shared Marcos's post thanking her for hosting his proclamation rally. Regarding a recent exit from PBB, ABS-CBN released a statement saying it respects the actress's resignation and personal choices. Now, in global headlines, New Zealand, one of the model countries in COVID-19 response, reaches a grim milestone. It reported 306 new cases today, the highest since the pandemic began. The development comes as people gathered outside the parliament in Wellington to protest vaccinations. New Zealand has been under red alert, which allows travel, but with compliance to a mask mandate. South Korea also broke its record in COVID-19 cases, with over 54,000 more people catching the virus. This is the first time the country breached the 50,000 mark. South Korean health officials warn infections could rise to 170,000 by the end of the month because of the highly contagious Omicron variant. And in the United States, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention is preparing to roll out an initial 10 million doses or Pfizer doses for children under 5 years old. It says it is only waiting for the go signal of the U.S. Food and Drug Administration. The U.S. hopes to immunize 18 million infants and toddlers as young as 6 months. While the U.S. seeks to expand its vaccination program, health officials there report a decrease in COVID-19 hospitalizations. The number dropped to below 100,000 for the first time in over a month. This as some states announce plans to scrap their school and indoor mask requirements. CNN's Chris Nguyen tells us more.
In the battle against COVID-19. Over the past 3 weeks, daily cases are down over 65%. Hospital admissions are down 40%. An encouraging sign as hospitalizations drop below 100,000 for the first time in more than a month, according to data from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. We know that in different areas of the country, cases have fallen more significantly, and this will lead to different approaches and different timing and we will continue to coordinate closely with state and local leaders.
A growing number of states, from California to New York, have stated their intentions to drop indoor mask mandates in the coming days.
At this time, we say that it is the right decision to lift this mandate for indoor businesses and let counties, cities, and businesses to make their own decisions on what they want to do.
Other states like Connecticut and Massachusetts are also eliminating mask mandates in schools.
Given the extremely low risk for young people, the widespread availability and the proven effectiveness of vaccines, and the distribution of accurate test protocols and tests, it's time to give our kids a sense of normalcy and lift the mask mandate on a statewide basis for schools.
The decision causing a stir with critics who say the timing just isn't right.
When you talk to teacher groups, you hear a variety of opinions there as well. And politicians, our elected officials, have to weigh all of those factors when they're coming forward with their recommendations.
In Washington, I'm Chris Wynn.
Before we go on a quick break, here's something for tech fans out there. Samsung has revealed the next generation of its flagship smartphone line, Galaxy S. The set features 5G phones with camera upgrades and better battery life and comes in various colors. The most expensive model, the S22 Ultra, is similar to Samsung's reportedly discontinued Galaxy Note line. It even comes with a Note signature built-in S Pen. The new smartphones are now available for pre-order. Check out cnnphilippines.com for more. Straight ahead, some local governments ways to celebrate the most romantic day of the year. Details after the break. Welcome back to CNN Philippines. I'm Pia Ontiveros. In the world of sports, an exciting Gilas comeback from Mark Pingris as assistant coach. Tiebreaker Times reports Pingris will join Chot Reyes and the rest of the coaching staff by the second window of the 2023 FIBA World Cup Asian qualifiers. The former Gilas player last competed for the team at the 2016 Olympic qualifying tournament. The national team gets another boost, this time from basketball star 30 Ravenna. The former Ateneo standout is now back from Japan to play for Gilas as they prepare for 4 games in the first window of the qualifiers. These will take place from February 24th to the 28th right here at home. Now, zombie K-drama All of Us Are Dead easily jumping to the top of Netflix charts in the Philippines, but also stealing the show is a Filipina who played one of Hiosan High School students. A scene where Noreen Joyce Guerra placed her backpack up front before crossing the street went viral. Pinoys say they do the same thing while commuting to keep items from getting snatched. The part-time actress tells CNN Philippines she's overwhelmed by viewers' reactions and shared how she got into the industry.
When I was in the Philippines, I get to work at the Korean Cultural Center. So it's a community that introduced Korean culture in the Philippines. So I met a lot of people from the industry. So when I came to Korea, through these connections, I got to work part-time for awards night, drama and movie awards night, fashion shows. Then they were the ones who encouraged me to take a role on cam.
The 30-year-old has appeared in over 85 K-dramas, including Hi Bye Mama, True Beauty, and You Are My Spring. Now, for those looking forward to the Day of Love, take a look at these local governments also riding on the Valentine's Day hype. In Gumaca, Quezon, tomorrow, LGU employees must wear different colors depending on their relationship status, like red for married, green for single, and yellow for don't care. But on the 14th, workers are all required to wear the red uniform. Mayor Webster Letargo says those who don't follow the dress code will get unlucky in love. Meanwhile, it's a race to find dates for those working for the Jose Abad Santos LGU in Davao Occidental. The mayor offered a leave and a date allowance of 2,000 pesos for any single person who finds a romantic partner for Valentine's. It's the other way around for employees of General Luna LGU in Quezon. Singles are getting their leave pay, but those who choose to work earn twice the pay. And that is it for now. Join me again on News.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Pia Ontiveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
This program is brought to you by
Find a partner, get married, and have children. For so long and so many, this was the only right way to live. But it's 2022, and it's time to break free from these impositions.
Kapag nagkaanak yung babae, automatic ikakasal na agad, di ba? Pero kasi yung mas importante yung pagsasama yung couple kaysa sa kasal.
They ask if you're married, why don't you have kids yet? We're happy, we're fulfilled, not having kids. I think that's enough.
This is Meet the Millennials.
The year has just begun. COVID-19 cases, those who are living in poverty, with corruption still facing graft.
We need answers from the men
and the woman
who are seeking the highest office of the land.